The NHL is a tough and competitive league. While it's a cliche that comes from players' mouths on a daily basis, it's definitely a cliche for a reason. While there's obvious pressures from coaches, teammates, financial incentives, etc., there's also the fans to consider as well. In this video, we're going to go over some NHL players who for various reasons were despised by their own fan bases. We'll go over each player's situation, why the distaste came about, and what, if any, consequences emerged in results. And with that, here are 4 more NHL players who were hated by their own fan bases. In case you weren't aware, Shayne Corson's NHL career was riddled with constant controversy. From losing his captaincy in Edmonton to being a pariah in Montreal, Corson gave NHL reporters plenty of highlights to print. Speaking of Toronto, Shayne Corson isn't exactly a name that evokes sunshine and rainbows in Leafland. After being traded back to Montreal in the latter stages of his career, Corson ended up signing with the Maple Leafs in 2000. However, by his 3rd season as a Leaf, Corson's on-ice production began to plummet. By the time February of 2003 rolled around, he had only been able to muster up 9 points in total. Therefore, for the first time in his 19-year NHL career, Corson was made a healthy scratch. This went on for a stretch of 7 games in total. Unfortunately, though, Corson wasn't able to respond in the way that the coaching staff would have hoped, as he finished the season out with only 15 points following 46 games played. And as the playoffs commenced, head coach and GM at the time, Pat Quinn, decided he wasn't finished in scratching the struggling forward, as Corson was made to observe Game 3 of Round 1 against the Flyers from the press box. And as the saying goes, this was indeed the straw that broke the camel's back. Following the decision, Corson responded by resigning entirely and walked away from his team during the series. Now, it's important to mention here that Corson did admit to struggling with mental health issues as well as ulcerative colitis. Teammate and brother-in-law Darcy Tucker revealed this to be a factor in his decision. "He talked to me and the rest of the family," Tucker told The Sun. "Before something snaps and panic attacks come again, the decision was made to go this way." Unfortunately, as most of us know, Toronto fans can be a very tough crowd to please, and Leaf fans readily resented Corson's choice to abandon the team. Honestly, if we're being brutally honest here, for Wild fans, there were a lot of reasons to despise Ryan Suter. Since we're going to be condensing here, if you're wanting more details about Suter's past antics since his draft day, be sure to check out my video devoted to the defenseman. Anyways, Suter's MO from day one was to try and charm his team's owner, Craig Leopold. Once Suter had Leopold in his pocket per se, he followed him to Minnesota once he changed teams. Besides, somehow, securing a monster of a deal along with Zach Parise, Suter was given preferential treatment. From having team practices near his former residence in Edina, to allowing him to skip preseason away games entirely. I'm going to have some sources below if you would like to read about how and when these things were revealed, but another indicator of entitlement, according to Yahoo Sports, came about in 2015. When asked to switch defensive partners and skate with Jonas Brodin, Suter didn't respond well to the change compliments of former coach Mike Yeo. When asked about his feelings towards it, he replied with, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. He decided to change things up. I don't know what they're thinking," he said. Another huge reason for there to be beef between Suter and many fans is the fact that he hogged a lot of valuable minutes that could have went towards younger players' development. And in case all of those previous reasons weren't enough, after signing with the Dallas Stars and facing his old team in the playoffs, Suter decided to target the Wild star player. Last spring, Wild fans erupted on social media following Suter's questionable cross-check against Kirill Kaprizov. So yes, Suter isn't exactly a household name in the Twin Cities today, and if I'm being honest, I doubt he is in the Lone Star State either. With the new year quickly approaching, it's no secret that many of you will be ringing in the new year with one drink, two, or several. Therefore, in order to avoid the nasty hangover the next day, having something that hydrates you faster than water alone in your back pocket is the best way to go. For a limited time, if you use my promo code AlyssaHope in all caps, you can receive 25% off your entire purchase and a free mystery gift on purchases of $75 or more. Simply click the link below to get started. And now, back to the video. Drafted in 1989 by Montreal, Patrice Brisebois went on to help the Canadiens secure their most recent Stanley Cup in 1993. However, after signing a 3-year deal valued at $12 million in 1999, the expectations naturally became higher for the defenseman. As we've seen with players such as Jonathan Drouin, for example, a greater amount of pressure is placed on players who are Quebec natives. This was definitely a factor. Even though his offensive production didn't waver from the norm, Habs fans began to take issue with his defensive lapses. Similarly to Erik Karlsson today, Brisebois was an offensive defenseman that routinely took risks that had the potential to backfire on the other end of the ice. To further cement their stance as a fan base, Brisebois was given the nickname Brisebois and was booed routinely whenever he touched the puck. The displeasure was enough for Montreal's GM at the time, Bob Gainey, to take notice as he called out the fan base while saying, "We don't need those people. We don't want those people. They're jealous people, yellow people. My message to them is to stay away. We don't need you," he said. And as a result of the antics from fans, Brisebois began to struggle with depression. Once he became a free agent amid the 2004-2005 lockout, Brisebois took his talents to Colorado after signing a 2-year deal in August of 2005. It wasn't all that long ago that Craig Berube was hired mid-season in 2018. After firing Mike Yeo, Blues management made the choice to promote Berube, who was an assistant coach at the time, and in fairy tale fashion, Berube went on to coach a team that was last in the standings initially. Despite this though, Berube, along with rookie Jordan Bennington, were a couple of the key ingredients that helped the team capture its first Stanley Cup. Anyways, for those who didn't know this is why Berube was revered during his time coaching in the Show Me State. He was a type that players naturally respected. Therefore, when he was recently relieved of his duties, the hockey world was in shock. Interestingly though, there was one player who didn't seem to care that his coach was let go and questioned: St. Louis forward Jordan Kyrou. After being questioned about his thoughts on the firing by the Athletics' Jeremy Rutherford, Kyrou had this to say: "I've got no comment. He's not my coach anymore," he said. Anyways, the resentment from fans wasn't just limited to social media, as they decided to voice their distaste during a home game against the Ottawa Senators. As soon as he was introduced amid the pre-game introductions, the audible boos rained down from the stands. And just like clockwork, every time Kyrou touched the puck, the boos could be heard. Following the Blues' 4-2 win, when questioned about the displeasure, Kyrou broke down in tears while saying, "It's just tough, right? I love playing here, so it's just tough to hear the fans booing me there," he said. In conclusion, I have a feeling that this won't be the end of this series. In case this was your first time tuning in, be sure to check out the handful of other videos that I made on the subject. Once again, if you'd like to support me and stay hydrated, be sure to head on over to Liquid IV before December 30th to save 25% on your order and to receive a free mystery gift on purchases of $75 or more. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.